poppin' YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Dopeaxxpana, and today in this video I'm going to be giving you guys a detailed step-by-step tutorial on how you guys can achieve medium boho braids. So jumping right into this video, it is sponsored by Eayon hair, and one of the best tips that I can give you is that when you're creating boho braids, you should be using a high quality human hair. So today we're going to do a very quick unbagging and just get into the hair that we're going to be using for this style today. So they sent me a starter kit which has 2 alligator clips, an edge brush, a latch hook. It also has a precision parting comb in there, and then they sent me 4 bundles of their natural deep curly 100% human hair. It's also double drawn, and we're going to be using 3 packs of this today to complete this look. Each bundle is 100 grams and they are in 20 inches, and I love how nice and full these are. I prefer Eayon hair over any beauty supply store brand because there's a lot less filler hairs in there, and also the price is just a lot more cost effective. You get a better bang for your buck. So if you guys are interested in seeing other hair textures they offer, check out eonhair.com. I'm just showing you guys really quickly all of the different textures that they offer. So we are going to get into prepping. You guys can see at the top of the hair there's a section of it that is straight, and this is the end that's going to be braided into the braid. So I'm going to take a little bit of product and I'm going to rub it across the top, and I'm going to pull off little pieces, and these are the pieces that we're going to be prepping and putting in. And I'm basically going to do this to every single bundle that I'm going to be using. Prepping is so important. You always want to make sure you do this before you start, because this can add hours to your install time if you are not prepared for the style. Prep time for this style takes me about an hour. It usually takes me around 45 minutes to prep my human hair and about 15 minutes to prep the braiding hair, and I'm going to show you guys how to do both. You guys can see as I'm pulling these pieces apart, they are pretty thick from top to bottom, and that's what I mean about filler hairs. When you use beauty supply hair, it's usually not double drawn, so a lot of that hair you actually have to throw away. And so yes, this is why I love using a high quality human hair. Next, for braiding hair, I use my own brand, the Dope Collection, in the color 2, and I prepped 4 bundles of this, which will be a total of 2 packs. I didn't use the full 2 packs, but it's going to take 2 packs in order for you to get 4 bundles. And we're going to be doing a medium size today, so I am pulling my pieces fairly small. I'm just going to overlap these pieces over each other. This is kind of like an old school prepping method, y'all, but for me, it's like if this ain't broke, I'm not going to fix it, and I absolutely love this method. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and prep all 4 bundles on top of this tray. As always, I'm starting off with a clean canvas, and for the gel, I'm going to be using All Day Locks Lock and Twist. It's not my favorite gel, but for the price, it works really, really well. I'm also going to be using Allegro's cutting comb for parting. This is my favorite comb. I've literally been using it since I've been on YouTube, and this comb is a little seasoned, y'all. I'm missing a little bit of teeth on it, but yeah, it gets down. So I'm doing kind of what I call an advanced braider's pre-part, and I'm always going to start off every single style by sectioning off the nape of my client's neck, which is going to be from the top of their ear down. This is going to be kind of like your first starting guide for the style, so the section is extremely important. You want to make sure that you take your time parting this off, and when you are parting, take a couple steps back away from your canvas because it will allow you to see if that part is straight or not. Now, depending on how much space I have in this nape area is really going to determine how many rows I add to this section, but typically for my medium braids, I am going to be putting 2 to 3 rows in this area, and I kind of just pull it to the side and see how much space I have to work with. For those of you guys who wonder why I don't fully pre-part, it just takes a little bit too much time for me, but if you guys are a beginner, I would recommend pre-parting this entire style out. If that's something that you guys want to see in a separate video, comment pre-part down below, and I will show you guys an entire pre-part for medium boho braids. Now you're going to lightly place product around that section that you're going to be braiding, and you want to be very careful that you're not using too much. Too much product will cause buildup and often will cause your product to turn white. So you definitely want to be cognizant that you're not relying on product to get a sleek braid, and rather you're working on technique. Now I'm going to be taking a piece of the braiding hair that I prepped and I'm going to be inserting it in between my pointer and my thumb finger, and I'm going to continue braiding. At the top of my braid, I'm going to be doing this 3 times before I switch my hand position and I continue to braid down. So that's my second piece, and I'm going to go ahead and add in one more. I personally only add hair in on the right side because I am right-handed. You can alternate or only add in on the left side as well, but you just want to make sure you pay attention to how your braid is building. Once I switch my hands over, I'm going to braid down 2 to 3 times, and I'm going to take a piece of that human hair, and the part that has the product applied on it, I'm going to lay that over the left side. I'm going to insert the top into my comb and continue braiding. The reason why I'm doing this is inserting it into my comb is not only to keep it out the way, but to allow and make sure that the hair is not moving as I'm braiding down. For each braid, I'm going to be adding anywhere from 6 to 9 pieces of the human hair. Remember, the more human hair that you add, the more full of a look you're going to get. As I'm braiding down, I'm going to add in one more piece of the braiding hair. You guys can see I'm just attaching each side, one to the left, one to the right. I'm not adding anything to that middle strand, and I'm going to continue braiding. And the purpose of this piece is to add a little bit of length and a little bit more thickness to that braid, just to make sure that as I'm braiding down, I have enough braiding hair to cover my client's natural hair. Again, I'm going to continue to add in those pieces. You can always use your comb, or you can use a clip to clip it out of the way, and I'm going to show you guys how to do both as this video progresses. I always know if I'm gonna love a style based off of how this first row of braids turns out, and I was super impressed with this curl pattern. I absolutely love the way that it looked, and I decided to braid the human hair into the ends of the braid just to give it more of an islandy, very natural and seamless look. If you guys watch my podcast, Dear Modern Stylist, you guys will know that I absolutely hate doing this, but I literally couldn't resist when I saw how beautiful this curl pattern was. The options that you have is either braiding the human hair into the ends, or you can use a flexi rod or perm rod and perm rod those ends, but I knew just based off of this curl pattern that it was going to eat with the hair braided into the ends. And I am going to show you guys in depth how I am doing this, so don't worry, there's going to be a nice clip where you guys can see, and I'm going to go ahead and seal that with hair glue so it looks just like this at the ends. This is going to be what this first row looks like, and like I said, I was super excited about this curl pattern. It's actually my very first time using it, and I can say that it's absolutely one of my favorite curl patterns that I have used so far to date. For those of you guys who are wondering why I used nail glue instead of hair glue to seal the ends of the braids, it's because hair glue takes a lot longer to dry, and so that's going to add more time to your styling time. And guys, whenever you're doing boho, you're looking to be the most efficient. The hair glue dries quicker and it seals it a lot better. So I'm just giving you guys a different angle. You guys can see I'm building that braid from the top. You'll also see me add in those human hair pieces and flip my hands over. And like I said, I will do another angle so that you guys are able to see how I'm adding the hair into the ends of those braids. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, I did use 3 bundles of their deep curly in 20 inches to complete this look. Remember, Eayon Hair has bundle deals, so the more you buy, the more money that you are going to save. And if you're looking for an extremely full look, you need at least 3 to 4 bundles to achieve that. Since doing boho braids, I realized that my go-to length is definitely 20 inches or 22, just because it hangs better, especially with clients who like longer braids. They don't want a bunch of short pieces hanging in their braids, and so I do prefer to use 20 inches. Also, remember that you're going to be braiding in at least an inch of that hair, and so you want to get as much hang time as you can. There you guys can see that I used a clip to clip the hair out of the way. Like I said, anything that doesn't reach up to my comb, I just go ahead and use a clip to clip it out of the way, and then I'm going to go ahead and braid the hair into the ends. Now, I know a lot of people are always nervous about ship time. If you guys are using any type of booking service online, then you guys should be able to grab your hair in advance because you know where your appointments are going to be, right? And shipping has never taken more than 4 days for me personally. I am located in California, so as long as you give yourself like a week and a half advance, you guys should be fine on shipping. I'm just showing you guys what the nape of that neck area looks like. So I did do a total of 3 rows, and I'm gonna lift each row up and just show you guys how nice and neat this looks. And I already knew, guys, after doing this that it was gonna be super bomb. I loved it. Now again, remember I am doing an advanced braiders pre-part, and this is how I attack every single head. I'm gonna start off by parting off ear to ear for the top of my client's head, and I'm gonna just be pre-parting this top section, and I'm not gonna worry about the middle section because I am gonna be connecting that later. I always create a middle part for my client, whether they want a side part or not, just because it's gonna allow each side to be symmetrical, and I'm gonna go ahead and part out those sides. Now my client has a really tiny head, so I am doing 5 rows on each side. Typically for my medium braids, I do 6, but I've done 6 on her before and they were extremely tiny. So I'm gonna be doing 5 rows on each side, which is gonna account for 10 rows across the top of my client's head. And that is gonna be how many rows are gonna be in this section from the ear all the way up. Remember, a pre-part should never be done with product because it is just a rough draft, and we're gonna go back in and define all of these parts. Sometimes we have to change them up a little bit. So using product is just, number one, gonna take a lot more time. It's also gonna waste a lot of time because you're gonna have to go back in and redo it. So not only is it a waste of time, but a waste of product, and we all know the price of products have gone up a lot, so we don't wanna do that. Again, if you guys need a beginner pre-parting tutorial, comment pre-part down below and I will get that out for you guys. So I'm just showing you guys how I connect the left and the right side through the middle, and this is how I'm going to be creating my parts that are going to go around my client's natural head. Again, as an advanced braider, you should be able to do this without having to part out each section. Pre-parting does not necessarily save time, but it is going to allow for a lot more precision. So if you are someone who's new, you can take that extra 30 to 45 minutes to part out that middle section as well. But I pretty much know how to navigate a lot of my client's hair already, and so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and pre-part it as I go. So here I'm just giving you guys another angle where you guys can see how I'm inserting that hair in, because sometimes it is hard to see where I'm putting it. I'm gonna flip my hands and I'm gonna go ahead and add that human hair in. In a second, I'm gonna show you guys when I'm done with my first bundle of human hair and when I'm done with my second bundle of human hair. I know you guys are gonna be like, oh my god, but I'm still not even done with that first bundle of hair, and you guys can see how nice and full this is. And this is why I always advocate for purchasing from online stores like Eayon Hair. Now for that nape of the neck area, I added anywhere from 6 to 9 pieces of human hair for this top section. I was just packing it in, y'all. There's anywhere from 10 to 12 pieces in each braid. Sometimes I don't count, I just add it in every like 3 to 4 times that I braid down just to create a full look. Sometimes I like to eyeball it when I'm going for a really full look. And with this braid, I'm actually going to show you guys how to create those ends. I'm going to be using that same hair that we prepped out in the beginning, and I'm going to be taking it, I'm going to add the straight part to the left side, and I'm going to continue to braid. I'm not going to be leaving any side of this out like we would typically do. You guys can see I'm adding it into the left side, and then I'm just going to continue to braid, and I'm only adding 2 pieces to each braid. This is really important, guys, because if you guys are adding in 3 pieces or more, you're going to create like a lump in your braid, and you want that braid to be seamless. After I braid down enough to where those straight pieces are gone and it's at least an inch to where that human hair is secure, I'm gonna break off a small piece of the human hair, and I'm gonna use that to tie a knot. To tie the knot, I'm gonna take that piece, I'm gonna wrap it around to the other side, and using my pointer and my thumb finger, I'm going to create a loop where I'm gonna put that hair through and then gently pull. You wanna make sure that you're using enough human hair where it won't rip, but also you wanna make sure that your knot is not too big, so you're gonna make sure you take off a small piece, and once you guys do this a couple times, you'll be able to see how much hair you need to pull off. To secure this knot, I'm gonna be taking a little dab of hair glue, and I'm gonna be placing it on that knot and tying it at least 1 to 2 more times to really secure that in place. This is not 100% necessary to do, but this is just gonna be a little bit of added security so that your pieces are not shedding or coming out. It is very common to get some flyaways in this area, but we're just gonna trim those off, but your braid should be pretty seamless once you do that. This is what the hair looks like after I have used 1 entire bundle, and like I said, all of the ends are braided in. There was only 1 braid in this row that I couldn't complete, so you guys can kind of see that braiding hair hanging down, but look how nice and full this is. Again, this is anywhere from 6 to 12 pieces in each braid with the hair braided into the ends. That is amazing, guys. This is so full. Now, I do have a couple more parting tips for my girlies. You want to make sure that you're bricklaying each row, and what that means is the row above the one that you're doing is going to be falling in between the row below it. And so to do that, I make sure that whenever I'm parting out a new row, I always start from the middle and work my way out to the sides. And I'm going to make sure that I'm parting each braid in the middle of the braid below it, if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense. You guys can see I'm taking my comb down and I'm creating that part right in the middle of the braid below it. This is gonna allow a lot more full look because it's gonna allow my braids to lay in between each other and give the illusion that there are more braids in my client's head. I think the biggest complaint that people have when it comes to knotless braids is that they're very thin looking or they're not full, and so adding boho hair and making sure that you're parting correctly is going to go ahead and beat those claims and give your client a nice full look. This is what it looks like when I do every other braid so that you guys can just see where it's falling and where the next braid is going to fall in between it. I kind of just wanted to give you guys a visual. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this top section off. A lot of people ask how to part the top out, and I mean, if you're connecting rows and you pre-part it like I did in the beginning, it should be pretty easy to do. But again, if you guys need a pre-part tutorial, let me know, because I know I do make a lot of things look a lot easier than they are. And so yeah, at the top here, I really only have one more row left, which is going to be her middle part. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I part that out, and we will be getting into the finished look soon. Now, this is what it looks like when I am done with my second bundle of hair. So again, you guys can see how nice and full this looks. This is a dry look, super full, and I only have one row left at the top, so I didn't use that entire third bundle, but I am going to be packing that hair in. Now I'm going to be creating a middle part for my client. You always want to do this by standing in front of your client to ensure that you are lining this up correctly. And y'all, this is one of the most important parts. I also know how to get a bomb middle part every single time, so if that's something that you guys also need to see, type middle part in the comment section down below, and I'll give you guys a tutorial on how you can achieve a middle part no matter what style you're doing and have it be in the center every single time. Now, one of the biggest questions that I get all the time is, do you dip your boho braids? And I absolutely dip my boho braids every single time because I like fluidity. I like my braids to flow. I don't like them to be stiff. And if you guys are using 100% human hair, like the hair from Eayon hair, then you should not have a problem dipping the hair. I have had people complain that they have dipped their boho braids and the hair has went straight, and you guys have to be careful when you guys are using these brands because they are blends of a human hair and a synthetic mix, and it has happened to me before. When you guys are purchasing from Eayon hair, this hair is 100% human hair, so yes, it can be dipped, it can be washed, it can be straightened, and it's pretty much like you're working with bundles. It's 100% human hair, so you are not going to have to worry about the quality of the hair being affected when it touches water. I always like to do a test strand with any hair that I'm using before I dip the hair, and this is kind of just gonna give me, you know, that comfort and that peace of mind. And you guys can see that when I dip this hair in boiling hot water, you guys can see the steam coming off of it, that it keeps this curl pattern, and that lets me know that it is a great quality human hair, and that even if the hot water touches it, it's gonna give me a nice curl pattern for my client, which I absolutely love. So when I went ahead and dipped this hair, I am gonna be dipping the entire braid in the water. This is so much easier when you're using a high quality human hair because you don't have to worry about picking the curls out, which I know you guys have seen me do before. Is super tedious. Anything that I can do to make this process seamless and efficient, I'm going to be doing, because we all know that boho just takes a long time. So this style in its entirety took me 6 hours to do, start to finish. And so yeah, I'm super excited with the way that it turned out and how full that they look. Every single thing that I use to create this look will be linked in the description section for you guys. At the top of the comment section, I'll also be linking Eayon's hair store with a direct link to the hair that I'm using so that you guys can see it. But look how nice and beautiful it is. I'm gonna go in for my last step and I'm gonna trim off any straight pieces. This is very common to have when you're creating boho braids, and you wanna make sure that you clip all of those pieces off just to give your braids a nice finishing touch. So here is the finished look. I hope you guys absolutely love it. She's shaking her hair in real time. Thank you so much, Eayon Hair Store, for sponsoring this video. If you guys like tutorials like this, don't forget to like and let me know so I can create more for you guys in the future. And if you have any requests, let me know what you guys would like to see in the description section. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.